Hello and welcome to this Mavencast. I'm here with Ian Higgs from Broadvision, who are one of the founding sponsors of Digital London. My name's Adam Malik. I'm the content director at Digital London. And Broadvision are key supporters to the event, in particular on the whole concept of a social business or Enterprise 2.0. And their CEO is flying over to give an address about how he has changed the world, seen the world change in terms of business, as well as some of their other product leaders. But Ian, thanks for making the time to be here.
Pleasure.
And we were talking earlier, and Broadvision's quite unique. And I suppose, like most companies who are out there with social business solutions, you're actually your own case study as well, because you need to use your own technology, you need to use your own systems. In that journey, and from inception to where you are now, it's been a 3-year process to get the product right and things like that. What are the sort of things you've seen as someone who's managing an EMEA operation, using some of this new way of working and contrasting with some of the old way of working? What are the things that you're really finding are a benefit?
Well, I would say that our journey is still continuing. We haven't stopped, and we're still learning, and we're still improving, and getting better at what we do. We've had some challenges along the way, and there's certainly been a little bit of carrot and stick to get people engaged and get people moving. For me, I've certainly got a lot more visibility now on what is happening around the whole organisation, not just within my own sphere. And it gives me the opportunity to see what's happening in the wider sphere and bring that to what I'm doing. Very quickly, I was able to get that insight into what was going on in marketing in other parts of the world, what was going on in business development, what was happening in sales, and bring those things into the European team. And rather than being sort of pushed and have email directives sent to you, you have a far more proactive proactive way of working. It's more of a pull mentality. People are now at the centre of what we do, whereas before it was all process and content driven. And you'd get the email directive and you'd check your email first thing in the morning, and that would work out your to-do list for the start of the day. Now my email traffic is reduced to barely anything at all, maybe a few system notifications and a few external emails. All my internal communication and traffic is all within our own Broadvision Connect site.
And how do you find that in terms of, I suppose it's quite useful to have a single feed, but I don't know about you, but I find that sometimes you do drown in that, especially, hooked into Twitter, hooked into some of the other social media feeds. So what's important to us, or where we're getting our information, is not just siloed within the company. We're getting all these external inputs as well. How are you as a business seeing that in terms of a benefit or a mentality change, just from a business context?
Yes, there is a danger of information overload, and there's a danger of being spammed. But as a colleague of mine always say, it's sort of filter failure, really. So, we have the opportunity to connect with those people that we want to connect to. So we follow people, we follow particular communities, so groups of people that we are working on initiatives with, or departments, or particular projects. We can even follow pieces of content. And you make that as your choice. You have your business objectives to address what the organisation is looking to achieve. So you decide who you're following, what you're following, where you're following, and you bring that to the table. So that's your first level of filtering. And then obviously within the own activity stream, you can filter some of that out. And that means that you can keep in touch, but you make a conscious decision of what it is that you need to do to get your job done, or what you need to follow, and so forth.
Do you think, and we were talking to Paul from Constellation Research earlier today, do you think that there is a need for almost every business to start working in this more connected way? I mean, what if I didn't do it? What would happen?
Well, I think that's the trend. I mean, I used to go back to working in a head office for a retail organisation before the days of email, and used to be away from your desk. You'd be in meetings. You'd come back to your desk and you'd have those yellow post-it notes, urgent responses. Somebody phoned for you, left a message. You've got to call them back, and your work was dictated by those yellow post-it notes. Then we had the email sort of revolution, if you like. And I think what we're seeing now is another revolution in social business, that the world at large is operating in this way, more and more so. The generation of people coming into the workforce are expecting to be able to work in that way, in that more connected way, be able to filter out, and connect with their work, connect socially, in what I used to call the sort of the martini moment, any time, any place, and in this day and age, any device. And yes, there will be a few organisations who will take time to adapt and transform themselves. That was the same with email, and it will be the same with what we're seeing now within social business. I think they will get there. There were maybe one or two organisations who never get there. Nothing wrong with process and content driven organisations. They've been very, very successful for many, many years. But those that are adapting sooner are probably getting a competitive edge, are seeing some productivity gains, are seeing a spark of innovation growing within their organisation, and that's helping them move forward and deliver value to their shareholders.
And if you were to give, because again, I know you and I have had talks about the challenges and things like that, about not necessarily driving through the change, but getting adoption and getting people to embrace the change. If you were to give one single tip to someone who's watching, who's in your shoes, running a part of a large sort of multi-geo organization, what's the single thing that you think people need to look out for?
That's difficult.
Or are there maybe two things? I'll let you have two.
maybe two or three.
Yeah.
Certainly, I mean, in any change, and this is a change, it's a cultural change. It isn't about the technology, it's about people. It's about adapting to new ways of working. So, like anything like that, you need some mandate from the top. But it isn't good enough just to talk the talk. You need to walk the walk. So whoever is the executive sponsor of these sorts of initiatives, if they've got board approval or are in the board themselves, don't just tell the team to get on with it and deliver it. Actually take an active part. Write blogs, answer in forums, contribute in other ways throughout the whole of the social network that you're using. So that certainly would be one. I think the second one really is, I know you're only giving me two, but the second one probably is just take your inhibitions off. Don't be afraid to say something. Everybody has a voice, and that's what people want to see. Everybody has a voice. So let yourself be heard. Talk about your work. What are you working on? Get yourself known, and share your experiences. Give something in order to get something back. People tend to wait for people to come to them, but actually it's far better to actually share what you're doing, and you'll see a response. You get the dialogue going, you start to build momentum. People then start to identify who are the sort of key players within the network, and so it builds.
And that must lead to some interesting joins when you're saying, you're doing things like, I don't know, working on the 2013 business plan, you're up there doing it. What's been the most interesting connection you've made personally in being open like that?
Well, in terms of internally in the organisation, probably connecting with people in an area of the business, not in my local territory, but in North America, in an area of the business that I've had nothing to do with. We have a product called Quicksilver, which is a technical documentation content management solution. Never had anything to do with that at all. Yet the people who work on that, they can contribute ideas to what we're working on. And to make those sort of connections, I would never have done that just through email, just through my normal working day. But the ability of using our own network to actually open that door has been invaluable. And now I don't worry about sharing information with everybody. And you can be amazing, what quarter ideas and comments come from.
Yeah. Thank you, Ian, and that's been really insightful, especially on the social business side of things. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. My thanks to Ian and obviously Broad Vision for sponsors at the event. But if you're interested in this concept of creating a social business, and if we are going to be digitally connected enterprises, then I believe that is one of the fundamental tenets. We've got an entire track on that at the Digital London event on socializing the workplace. You'll hear from experts and independent analysts, as well as a few case studies in the journey. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you at Digital London.